Dude, pop it in front of the mic. Oh, dude, crisp. ASMR, dude. Yeah, give me some ASMR.
Do you want to do ASMR and that's just farting into a microphone? Do you think that's a thing? That has to be a
Dude,
thing.
people are into kinky shit.
No, I'm saying that has to be a joke that people have made. ASMR. It's just noises your butt makes.
I feel like it might be original thought.
Really?
Yeah.
There's no way.
I've never heard that before. I'm also not in the ASMR community.
Me neither. And I hate
But dude, those people are so serious though.
Well, I hate that people are like, it's not sexual. Go fuck yourself.
It is definitely sexual.
It's sexual.
It's definitely sexual.
And I'm fine with that. It should be.
It should be. Who cares? Why can't it be?
Yeah. And so will ASMR.
Well, it's definitely sexual because it's just a close up on the side of the butt, so you don't see the butthole, but you see the vibration in slow mo. Gross. Dude, cheers. Whiskeys and cigars.
Special.
Oh, yeah. Let's freaking try this. Oh, yeah. That's
great.
smooth.
Holy shit.
We're
that's
drinking
good.
a small batch of 4 roses for this special occasion, and I'm puffing on a black and mild wood tip wine.
I am smoking a Swisher Sweet Classic.
Yeah.
So the lamest cigars there are.
Yeah, but like we're wimps and
Yep.
we're kind of losers. So Whiskeys and Cigars, this is our version of it. Happy Moist Monday, everyone. Welcome back to the pod. We appreciate you having here. We said in not last episode, but the episode prior that we would do this. So here we are. It's a little bit chilly outside, but the window's open, so we got long sleeves on. We got the fire going.
And we're getting moist.
And I have a topic today.
Okay.
This one's kind of serious. This one's kind of might be a little bit emotional. This also is going to kind of timestamp this episode, and we don't normally talk about current events or news or anything because by the time you hear this episode, it will be months after this event happened.
Right.
So it's going to be old news. But I just really wanted to talk about it and then dive into a deeper deal with it, and that's celebrity deaths.
Yeah.
So obviously you're listening to this way late, but Taylor Hawkins just died.
Yeah. Who knows in 2 months when this gets released who just died.
Yeah, I mean, celebrities die all the time, but like that's what really made me start thinking about this is like, so I got the news like Friday night. So this is Monday. It's been 4 days later, and I'm still feeling weird about it.
It is a weird one.
And it's like, because it was so out of the blue and he was so young and I knew he had a drug problem, or at least he did back in the day. I thought he had recovered because he OD'd back in the early 2000s.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. He OD'd and like almost died then.
That's wild.
And
Because
I thought he was clean now, and
well, because it hasn't been completely like confirmed, but I did read a toxicology report from that country that he had a bunch of
oh, dude,
different
they
things.
found like 10 different substances, and
opiates,
I read something that his heart was 2 times the size of a normal heart.
Christ.
Yeah, and they were supposed to play a festival. Yeah, so
that day, right?
Yeah, so Foo Fighters is like one of my favorite bands. And
Yeah.
I've had the great pleasure of seeing him twice. And I just really wanted to talk about just in particular his death, but then other ones that have affected you, which is weird because celebrity deaths are people that are dying that you've never really met. So like,
No.
why does it affect you so much? Like, that's the weird part is like, just because I love their music.
Well, I mean, it's
a part, like I have their logo tattooed on the back of my neck.
I mean, a big idea of it's a piece of culture that just died.
Yeah, he's one of the most iconic drummers, and like
Yeah.
what I've been thinking about a lot is like Taylor Hawkins is like the only person I could picture that could drum for Dave Grohl.
That's fair.
You know what I mean?
Dave Grohl is one of the best drummers.
He's one of the best drummers. Like anyone else behind the kid, I'm just gonna wish it was Taylor or just Dave.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then it also makes me think like, what's the future of the Foo Fighters? Are they like, how can you replace Taylor?
Yeah, because he was like, I
He
guess
he joined the band in '97.
Yeah, so that's the second album because no one else was on the first album besides Dave.
It was just Dave. I think he joined the third album.
Really?
Because they had a drummer for the second album, and the guy recorded the drums, but Dave didn't like the way he did it, so Dave went back and redid his drums without telling him.
Is that the Blue album? Which one's the second album?
The second album is, Color and the Shape.
Oh, I
Yeah.
really like that one.
Yeah, that album, the last track, Color and the Shape, on that album is so chaotic punk. And
Because, I just listened to their entire discography at work. And that That
I've been going through that.
Monkey Wrench, and both those are on that album.
Yeah.
I can't remember what my other. Oh,
Stacked Actors, I think, is on that album. That's a
no,
great
that's
song.
the next album.
Oh, that's the next. Yeah.
Yep.
But the Foo Fighters have such a intensive library, and they have so many great songs. Like I listened to Wasted Light today, Wasting Light,
So
and
good.
that's one of my favorite albums. That's the album that made me fall in love with the Foo Fighters when that album came out, because I was in high school when that came out. And dude, it's just very like surreal. Like I keep thinking about it, and I keep going through waves of just feeling weird and sad, and like I keep thinking about like Dave, and that's like really what really gets me sad.
That's a bump because he's
Is
like
because-
famously such a happy person with. With tragedy that like all of us have had tragedy, but we can all pinpoint his tragedies of like, oh, this is when that best friend of his died.
Yeah, so this is the problem is Kurt Cobain died.
Yep.
His front man, best friend, died, and now Dave Grohl is the front man, and his best friend drummer just died.
Oh, I didn't think about it like that. That
so
like
he's-
reversed and they
yeah.
still died.
Yeah, isn't that like it? Just
That's fucking weird.
I keep thinking about that, and like their relationship. Like I've watched a lot of like interviews and videos, and
That's his best friend.
that's his
yeah.
best friend, and they goof around a lot.
He is the second Foo Fighter.
Yeah, and I just can't. It's just weird, dude.
Besides Pat Smear, I don't know anyone else in the band.
There's Nate. He plays the bass.
Okay.
Chris Shiflett plays the guitar.
I just know Pat Smear because he's also punk royalty.
Yeah, and he was also in Nirvana for a little bit.
Yeah,
which
and
is
he
kind of
was
cool.
in the
So
Germs,
I guess,
right?
yeah, and I
And
guess
the
Pat-
Germs killed himself too, right?
Yeah, so I guess Pat. I always forget about Pat because Kurt Cobain died. The guys from and then Taylor. Like so, Pat also has dealt with
Jesus.
And I guess a lot of people have dealt with other. There's been a lot more
I mean,
celebrity
rock stars
deaths,
die,
especially back in the. Well, everyone dies. That's
But,
the
like-
crazy part. But like a lot of like, especially '90s bands, a lot of people died. Like
They
Lane
lived hard.
Staley from Alice in Chains freaking died young because he OD'd. It's just, it's very surreal and
I mean, punks died young too.
yeah,
And that was the 90s.
because they live fast, die young.
Gigi
you know?
Allen. Do you know about his death?
Who's Gigi Allen?
He's horrible. He's a piece of shit, and everyone loved him for it. He would take, at the opening of a concert, he would take laxatives,
What? I think
shit in his hand, and throw it at the audience.
Oh, and they play like fast punk music, shitty
Just
punk.
horrible, yeah. And so when he died at a party. I'm guessing of an OT. I guess I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you can
And
kind of assume.
there are photos of people posing with his supposedly passed out body. He was dead. And at his funeral, the people covered him in just trash and shit and just stuff, just because that's how he would have liked it.
God, that's so weird.
Yeah, Gigi Allen. Yeah, he was somewhat famous of having a reverse Hitler mustache. So it's just the ends,
What the
no middle.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I first started eating fire, one of my teachers,
Had that?
well, no, he warned me about that because he had met Gigi Allen before.
He'd met him?
Yeah, my teacher was huge in the New York punk scene, like buddies with some of the Ramones while they were still alive.
Dude, I think it might be him or it might be another crazy punk guy. But have you ever heard of the podcast Disgraceland?
I've heard of it. I haven't listened to it though.
I haven't listened to it in a long time, but I was way into it back when it first came out, and it's about like music and celebrities and like the crazy shit they would do.
Okay, cool.
And there's like an episode about this punk frontman that was just this crazy person.
Probably.
And like one of their album covers is literally a dead body that they took with a Polaroid.
Oh shit.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like it's like fucked up.
I can't remember if that's. Them
It might
or
be
not.
it might be a death metal band. that
There's
I'm thinking of.
I know a Swedish death metal band where literally one of the members killed the other one, and I know one.
And they used it for their album cover.
Yeah, I know, or maybe he killed himself and they used that.
Dude, that's so fucked up.
Yeah.
But going back to celebrity deaths, like, so this Taylor Hawkins thing really moved me. And obviously, you're listening to this way past when it happened. So I'm probably recovered by the time I'm listening to this. But it's still going to be weird, and I'm very just curious to see what the progression of the Foo Fighters is going to be after this. It got me thinking, like, a lot of celebrities die,
Yeah.
obviously. But has any celebrity deaths like affected you? Like, because I can think of a couple of moments. I mean, obviously, there's been huge ones this year, like Betty White, Bob Saget.
But like Betty
like,
White,
But everyone, she was old.
the weird
you know?
one about Betty White is it became a bit that she was still alive.
Yeah, and then
And
she
that
was so
annoyed-
close to 100.
Well, that annoyed me that people were sad that she died when we literally all made jokes about how she's still alive.
And it was insane how old she lived.
Yeah, because I know the other old death, Cloris Leachman. I think Betty White outlived her.
I don't know who that is.
Cloris Leachman, she actually was from Iowa. Did you ever see Raising Hope?
I think of maybe a couple episodes.
She was the old woman in that. She was also like in like Young Frankenstein.
Oh, I love her, Young Frankenstein. I recognize her.
Yeah, in The Office, when they're watching Jack Black's fake movie where he falls in love with an old woman.
That's her?
Cloris Leachman,
Oh
yeah.
my god, dude. That's so I forgot that they make a fake movie and Jack Black is
With Jack Black
and he
and
falls
Cloris
in love with
Leachman,
an
yeah.
old lady. I remember so I wrote down a list.
Well, I know my biggest one. That was David Bowie.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Because David Bowie had a huge impact
that was a
on my
couple
life.
years ago, right?
That was a long time. Like,
Yeah,
quite
David Bowie had a very huge. Do you remember how you heard about it and how you like walk me through like what happened if you remember?
Well, I'll start with why David Bowie had always had such a big.
Oh yeah, that's a good
impact on my
idea. I
life,
tell the backstory first. Yeah.
So growing up, Labyrinth then and still today is my absolute favorite movie.
Oh, it's incredible.
Well, it's a dumb movie, but it's just perfect for what it is. Because I think my favorite part about the movie is you hate the main character.
Oh really?
Yeah, she's whiny, she's annoying. All she's doing is running around screaming, "That's not fair!" And then like the other part of the movie is David Bowie going like, "It's okay that it's not fair, Sarah." Like that's like all the movie, and I fucking love it. It's that mixed with Muppets, mixed with great
Oh,
musical
Jim
numbers.
Henson.
Yeah,
Like yeah.
yeah, like all.
Dude, we've never watched that together.
We haven't watched a lot of movies together, but no, that's my favorite like movie to watch when I'm sick. But I know that movie and a couple other. So I know the movies that created who I am today the most are Labyrinth, Lost Boys, and Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Whoa. Yeah, that when I think about those three movies, that actually makes a lot of sense.
It's
like,
a very linear line. Yeah, I know David Bowie was one of the first people that I saw where I was like, oh, men can be really pretty. And like weird and cool and like
they don't have to be masculine. They don't have to be like
it's almost like masculinity. Like he still was like extremely masculine, but in the weirdest fucking way.
And he wasn't afraid to wear makeup. He wasn't afraid to have characters. He wasn't afraid to.
I mean, his music's fucking weird. Like his early shit, I fucking loved. His 80s stuff, parts of it got where like I didn't love it. And that's like. He's probably the number one where I wish I loved all of his music. So I love like going through it and hearing how he changed.
Oh, so you've gone through his discography?
Yeah, I've listened to all of his music before, and like, I can't remember if Lazarus. Wait, that's the name of his last album, I think. Fuck, Black Star. Fuck, whatever his last album is. That's one of those two. I can't remember if that came out right before he died or
I
right
do remember
after.
something. Yeah, something came out like right when he died.
Well, he recorded it knowing he was dying, which I think is fucking incredible. Yeah.
I don't remember. Like, how did he die?
I think he had cancer. Yeah, and he
Shit.
never went public about it.
And then that's kind of crazy that you didn't tell anyone.
I think just like his wife knew.
That's crazy. You're a public figure and you don't let you have a giant. You're David fucking Bowie.
Yeah.
And you don't let your fans know that you have cancer, and you don't like
I
just
respect
warn
that.
them. That is kind of nice. You kept it private.
Yeah, and just
so then you don't get this sympathy.
it was just a wild one. Just one day he was dead.
Yeah.
And I remember
I forgot about that.
I remember I
movie.
cried and I watched Labyrinth that night. But like I remember like that's
And it's a weird feeling when you find out.
that's one of the few celebrity deaths that actually made me cry. Robin Williams was the biggest shock to everybody.
Yeah, that's a good poll too. I forgot about that too.
Because that one was a suicide, so like literally no one knew it was coming, and that was like,
dude, that's making me think of like the guy from the Food Network.
oh yeah, Anthony Bourdain,
and then the guy from Linkin Park. And
yeah, Chester Bennington.
Yeah.
All of those were so fucking just
out of the
shock
blue
to the system.
I mean, that's
yeah.
kind of how Taylor Hawkins was. I mean, it wasn't a suicide, but it kind of was because of drugs. It's an assisted suicide. It's kind of how overdose works.
It's like accidental suicide. Yeah.
But yeah, you're tempting death if you're fucking having that much. Dude, but it's just, I don't think I've like cried over Taylor Hawkins, but I've gotten really close and I've like held myself back. It's just been a weird one. I know like
He's one that you never picture. I mean, like all of them are people you never picture dying. But then there's like old ones of like we all know Betty White was gonna die. Same with like Stan Lee.
yeah.
I know Tim Curry's gonna be a big one because he's not doing well.
Oh, he's not.
No, I'm guessing he's had strokes before because he is like in a wheelchair. It's a bummer seeing him now.
Yikes.
Yeah, and he is
Dude,
such a fucking icon.
Rocky Horror.
Rocky
Clue.
Horror, Clue, It. I watched that
Oh,
last
he's in
night.
the original It?
He is the original It. He's Pennywise the Clown.
I never knew
He
that.
played the devil in this incredible movie. I mean, fucking Muppets Treasure Island.
And Tim Curry didn't care. Like, he would just play these crazy characters.
Rocky Horror was made in the late 70s. That's insane.
and he was...
Sweet
that's a-
Transvestite.
Yeah, that's a crazy movie to make in the late 70s. That I feel like a lot of people were like, what is this?
And one of the biggest cultural impacts of all
it's
time.
a cult classic.
Yeah, it was this weird underground thing. I'm bummed, like, because when we grew up, I just had it on DVD. But, like, people used to have to go to a picture show to see it. And everyone
Which would
knew...
be so cool. I mean, I think they still do that.
Yeah, but it's not the same as, like, back in, like, the 80s and 90s when it was this cultural phenomenon.
Yeah, true.
You'd have to drive to the city and go at midnight, and everyone knew all the lines.
Oh,
and
they
all
would
this-
do it at midnight?
I mean, they would do it, like, late. Like,
So
yeah.
it was like, that's really
It
cool.
was, yeah, and they would do it every weekend, and people would go every single weekend, and they would knew there was like cues in like certain parts where you'd yell out one specific thing.
Oh, so that it's just like a community.
It was like,
Yeah, that's really
it brought
cool.
cult classic to a whole nother term because it was literally a cult. Like it was, you knew what to do, you knew what to say, you knew all the lines. People would act it out, like because they would used to do where it was like projected on film, and in front of it was people doing it on stage.
Whoa, so the movie would be playing.
Along, like two things was happening at once, and the crowd.
God, that would be such a
was-
cool
yeah.
experience to be a part of.
Mm-hmm. No, like that movie, I think is one of the biggest cultural impacts of a film.
God, I didn't know Tim Curry was doing bad.
I mean, he's pretty old too, but yeah,
Yeah, I guess,
I'm guessing
you know.
he had some strokes or something like that.
I don't. Is he doing anything like recent or modern?
I don't think he
kind of
can.
just went off the grid.
I've seen him do some like signings, and that's it. And that's where like I saw that he just wasn't doing hot. I
Dude,
don't
you
think he was really
gotta
talking.
you gotta get to one of those signings.
No, I don't want to see.
You don't
him.
want to see him like that.
That's a weird thing. I mean, like, not that this is the same, but it's kind of like when I knew my grandpa was gonna die, and I remember my mom was with him, like probably the last week or so, not the entire week, but like she had gone down to visit him especially, and she was with him, and she was like, "Hey, do you want to talk to him on the phone?"
Oh, and you said no.
Yeah, because I knew the last interaction I had with him was one he understood and respected.
And it was a good one.
Well, it's, I mean,
Your relationship was weird.
yeah,
Yeah.
because he definitely didn't respect me kind of as a person of who I was. But it's right when I decided, or I was in welding school, I just decided
And
to
that
be a
was
welder.
and that was in his mind a good job.
It's something he could understand. It's
Yeah,
something
and
he
relate
could
to.
place. He knew what I was gonna do.
And he was proud of you for doing a hard earnings.
Yeah.
A hard job.
Yeah, and that I knew was the last like button on us.
And you wanted to leave that last memory a good one.
Yep, I
get what
wanted
you're saying.
something he could understand.
Because, yeah, I guess when people are dying, you remember, like, especially if you're there, you remember, like, how they were those last couple of years and how they were when they died. And it's like, that's not who they are as a person or who they were as a person, but that's, like, who they were in the last couple of years. And that's how you always will remember them. And that's what sucks is, like, can you imagine when we're old?
Do you think we're gonna get old?
I mean, I honestly didn't think I would make it this far.
That's fair.
But, you know, I'm here. It's going to be fucking weird. I'm glad, like, right now we're documenting things.
That's what I thought about too.
Because it is going to be nice to be able to look back, you know,
Yeah, no, like
40 years from now.
I will have hours of our conversation,
and we can just, even if this podcast it stays where it is right now, viewer wise, it's still going to be nice that this is out there and I can go back and listen to it.
It's an
And
audible.
it's an
like,
audible
photo book.
timestamp.
Yeah.
And it's us being us, having real conversations, joking, but also talking about which is what we do in real life.
Well, yeah, like
This
I
is
like
us being real.
I like that this conversation is no different than if we were anywhere else.
Yeah, because we freaking talk all the time.
Yeah, Moist Monday happened before the podcast.
Yeah, like
It'd be,
2.5 years before
we
the podcast
would get
started.
a drink and talk about shit. We would plan for future shit. We would tell each other ideas or stories.
We talk about what's going on in our lives.
Yeah.
So I have a couple celebrity deaths going back to that.
Yeah.
So one that was kind of recent. This one didn't move me as much, but I was kind of upset. Sean Connery.
Yeah, that was a weird one. First Bond. But that was another one where he was super
He was super old. But Sean Connery's my favorite Bond.
Sure.
And like, so I remember I got this Life magazine with Sean. Like they did a 25 years of Bond, I think it was, and they released different covers
Yeah.
with all the different Bonds on them, which is really cool. So I got the Sean Connery one,
Nice.
which is I love it. And then it like literally goes through the history of Bond, and
He might be the best.
dude, he's so good. Dude, I really like Daniel Craig.
Me too.
I haven't seen the new movie.
I mean,
I've
I've
heard
seen
it's
the
good.
last two.
My uncle gave me his login so I could watch it, but I haven't watched it yet because I don't have time.
Ooh,
but I want to.
Actually, I have something that connects to all of this. Oh, I cannot remember his fucking name. He's this incredible musician. Do you know the song Werewolves in London?
Oh, yeah.
The man who wrote that, when he found out he was dying, I know he had a press conference. And he also wrote an album about him dying, and it's like with all of his friends came in and sang with him. It's incredible.
Jesus.
I'm so
Can you
mad.
imagine, like...
I'm so mad I can't remember his name. But he actually held like a little press conference thing about when he announced that he was dying. And one of his last like statements about it was, I want to live long enough to see the new Bond film. I've heard they're taking it in a new direction. And it was Daniel Craig's Casino Royale. And they did take it in a new direction. And
That's a great movie.
yeah,
Dude, I saw that movie 3 times in theaters.
I just love that statement of
Like,
something.
he wanted to stay alive old enough to see the new Bond. Because Bond's been around since the freaking 60s.
He would have grown. Everybody grew up with a Bond film.
I remember falling in love with the Bond movies because every year on Thanksgiving or around Thanksgiving, AMC would have marathons on TV.
Okay.
And it was all the movies. Which, dude, that's days worth of movies. Because the early films
There's
are
like
so long.
7? No, I bet there's more than 17.
There's so many movies.
Because I don't even know.
I have the really cool box set
Yeah, my dad has
of
that too.
VHS.
Oh, shit.
It's not all of them.
Right.
It's just 3 sets.
Cool.
And it's on VHS.
Yeah.
And then I own a lot of them on DVD. I own a lot of behind the scenes stuff on DVD. I was way into Bond back when I was
I
younger.
can't even name them all because I know there's
Dude, I can't even name them all either, but I was way into it when I was a kid.
Roger Moore, Pierce Brosnan. Because Pierce Brosnan is who I picture as Bond
I-
because he was my video game Bond.
I liked Pierce Brosnan as Bond, but
'Cause his
Sean
were-
Connery is just like, he has this suave, this smoothness. Which
he
is
was
who-
the shaken, not stirred
Yeah,
Bond.
he's the Bond.
He's
I mean,
Bond, James Bond.
Yeah, and I really like Daniel Craig. I think there's like,
Daniel Craig's different, but I really like him.
because Bond was, you had to have a certain hair color and eye color. I'm pretty sure that was like the distinctive
Black
thing.
hair, brown eyes.
Yeah,
probably,
and then Daniel Craig didn't have that.
blonde hair, blue eyes.
Yeah, and it was like a different, but it was cool, and he
Yeah.
did a great job.
That's like when everyone freaked out at the idea of a black Bond.
Really? I don't remember hearing about that.
Oh, really? Yeah,
Yeah.
people like
Like,
just the idea.
is that
of it-
before like Daniel Craig took over?
No, right after
Oh,
when they
right.
were planning for the next, because a lot of people wanted Idris Elba.
Ooh, that'd be really.
He could do it because he's that
Dude,
suave.
he's suave, dude.
like and he's great in action. He's great in mystery.
I haven't seen the latest film, and I know it ends with they're twisting it and changing it the series is going to go in a different way.
Isn't it like a black woman's
I
taking
think
over
it's
something like that?
I think it's a girl.
Because
I think it's a woman taking over.
as long as they don't call her like Jamie Bond, I'm fine with it.
But like,
Because 007 can apply to others. It's weird,
I haven't seen it.
right? So
and
you don't know how they do it.
I haven't seen it, and this is going to sound like I'm not trying to make it sound like I'm sexist.
Right.
But like James Bond is like this guy who's a badass, but he's also like
A womanizer.
a womanizer.
What if she's a lesbian?
Whoa, okay, that'd be
She's
cool.
just-
But it's like I'm open to it. I'm not saying I'm against it,
I
but I'm
mean,
just so
as long
used
as
to
they
it.
do it well.
I'm just so used to it being like this typical format because they've done this typical format for fucking 60 years.
Yeah.
And that could be just because I'm used to it.
Well,
but
'cause,
I
like-
am open. Like I haven't seen the new movie, and I've heard it's really good.
Well, because
I really want to see it.
There's a whole story about like the Bond girl of whoever he fucks in that movie. It'd be weird.
I have a DVD, no joke, of the Bond girls.
Oh, is
And
it just like all their clips?
It's just a movie about all the different girls in the Bond films, and it's kind of like a behind the scenes, and like it's really cool because it shows like in Goldfinger like the girl getting painted in gold.
Oh.
Obviously she dies, but then and then it goes through Halle Berry. Halle Berry was a Bond. Do you remember
forgot
that?
about that, yeah.
Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah.
That's like the weird era Bond,
Yeah.
where it's like the end of the 90s, early 2000s.
He kind of got like cartoonish. Like there's the thing where he's like parasailing on like an exploding glacier or whatever.
Oh yeah, because they stayed at an ice hotel.
yeah.
Which was cool. That translated into an awesome video game.
Yeah, I did.
Those video games were badass.
That's why he's like kind of my Bond because he was my video game Bond.
because, dude, Nightfire is one of the best Bond games ever made. From
he had
Russia
like
with Love.
He had like 3 or more.
Yeah,
at
The
least.
World Is Not Enough.
Yep.
Nightfire.
So that was 64 on the PS2.
It's on.
Or
Yeah.
GameCube. Yeah.
And then I think there's another one. But From Russia with Love came out in that era.
Okay.
and that was Sean Connery.
Oh.
It was cool because I remember getting that on PS2, and it's not as good as Nightfire.
Nightfire's was a perfect game.
And I love the multiplayer.
Yes. Well, like, but also like the driving version.
Oh, dude, it's
you're on a jet.
And the way it starts,
yeah.
where you have to like, and then you're
on the
driving the car,
helicopter
and then
sniper.
like you drop into the car and you save the girl, and then it ends with fireworks and your cheers of champagne.
Yeah.
Like that's freaking badass. And then the
That's Bond.
song comes in.
Yep.
That's how a movie starts. Like it's just okay. I'm not geeking out, dude, because I love Bond, but I haven't like. I want to go through it again. I want to like fall back in love with Bond.
I remember the last Bond movie I watched. It's said to be one of the worst. It's You Only Live Twice.
Ooh, that's an older one.
It's fucking horrible.
Who's the Bond in that? I don't remember. Is that Roger Moore?
It's Moore or Connor. I think it's Connery, but I cannot.
Connery was in a lot of them.
Yeah.
It was crazy is back in the day they would release them like once a year.
Really?
There's so many that came out so quick.
No, because that one he fakes his own death and comes back as a Chinese man or a Korean man. I cannot remember.
I see. I don't remember that one as much.
And he has like a tiny helicopter. That's all I remember.
What?
And it's fucking horrible.
I definitely have probably seen scenes
You
of
only live twice.
it. I definitely own it.
Well, there was that one Bond who was only Bond once, and I think he broke the fourth wall in it.
Oh, and then they said you're done.
I mean, they wrote it.
Oh, they wrote it? For being such a Bond fan, I feel like I don't know as much as I should.
See, my dad got really obsessed at one point, so I watched a lot of them with him.
I mean, that makes sense. That makes sense. I would love to watch Bond films with your dad. Like, that would be cool. Not you there.
It's like your Make-A-Wish.
That's my make-a-wish. Is watch Bond films with your dad. We'd go on a 6-day bender.
That can be another podcast. Bond films with your dad.
Yeah, that's a Patreon exclusive. Where
Robert watches all the Bond
I watch
movies
all
with
the
my
Bond
dad.
films and we talk about it. That'd be really funny,
That'd
actually.
be amazing.
If we got to that size. We're starting now.
That's our stretch goal.
That's our stretch goal. But I got 2 more celebrity deaths I want to talk about.
I'm sure I have takes on it.
So these next 2 are ones that I really remember impacting me hard, and like I cried at both of them.
I bet I know one.
Who?
Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson.
That was a
Yeah,
weird one.
Michael Jackson.
Do you remember where you were?
I don't remember where, because we were young. I think elementary school.
Probably.
I think we were. So it's weird that we.
I remember what I was doing when I found out he died.
You remember what you were doing? It's like 9/11 for you.
Yeah. My mom and my sister were getting Culver's.
Nice.
And
a great restaurant in the Midwest.
Oh, right. That's not global. Yeah. And they called me and told me to turn on the TV because they had heard a rumor that
About
Michael Jackson died.
Yeah.
And then I turned it on and I remember just standing in the middle of the living room just staring at the TV.
And you're just by yourself.
Yeah. And like they had his music videos going and they had a live feed of celebrity tweets about his death.
Jeez.
It was fucking weird.
Yeah, that was a really weird one. And obviously there's a generation above us that probably were way sadder and way, because they grew up with him.
You were into him a lot, though.
Dude, but I went through a Michael Jackson phase. I dressed as him for Halloween. I went as whiteface.
Yeah.
Which is weird because I literally put whiteface on it. I wore a fedora and a white glove. It might have been a little Michael Jackson racist, but I was a kid though. And it was like, I was way into it. And then what's crazy is when my brother was a little kid, he was way into Michael Jackson too. And he could do like the dance moves.
Huh.
And he was like he went through a Michael Jackson phase as well. So it's like really weird. I'm pretty sure he was already dead at that point.
Or
Or
to,
yeah. I remember that one hitting me weird because I went through that giant phase.
Yeah.
His music's so good. I know he's kind of controversial, but his music and his impact, and he's iconic.
King of pop.
Yeah, dude, he's one of the most iconic musicians
Of all time, yeah, for sure.
His music is incredible, and I remember watching his funeral because his funeral was on TV, and that's what I remember. I remember putting it on in our living room, which the living room also ties to the other celebrity that I want to talk about.
All right.
But I remember watching it in the living room, just like sitting there, just crying because there were so many people there, and because he was such
mattered so much.
It was just it was a huge cultural impact.
Like I enjoy his hits. I understand
Even
how
his
good
early
he is.
stuff is good.
Yeah, I mean his later stuff's not great.
There's a couple good songs.
Yeah.
But like his classics.
But also just like after he got super weird, it just all got weird.
But he's always like, what's crazy is he kind of knew he was dying because his last tour and his last album was "This Is the End."
True. But like his death had a weird.
Because it was an overdose from his doctor.
And didn't his doctor get arrested?
Yeah,
I think
but that's
so.
that's why I kind of feel like he knew it was the end because he called it "This is the end."
Maybe.
And he was like in his 50s, I think. He was kind of young.
Yeah, that is weird.
But dude, it is crazy like how he was so dialed in and like watching it like, oh, I've seen like rehearsal clips of him.
Yeah.
And they're like practicing, and he's like going 1, 2, 3, 4, and the band would start, and he'd go, "No, stop, you're off."
Jesus.
Like he was like so anal.
Yeah.
And it's like kind of crazy because it's like that kind of makes sense because he
It was
fucking
hammered into him
he's
as a kid.
so yeah, true. Jackson 5. That's kind of what fucked him up.
Well, yeah, because his dad was a piece of shit, right? Like,
Yeah.
But like that.
But he's so talented, dude.
Well, and that he has
and
two
he wrote
famous
amazing.
siblings who are extremely famous on their own, but then nothing compared to him.
Yeah, because he freaking popped. That was a weird one.
How many? There's Tito, Janet, Jermaine.
Jermaine and Janet are the big ones.
Yeah,
and then
and
there's it's the Jackson 5, so there's 5 of them.
So Michael, Tito, Jermaine.
Janet.
And there's
Yeah, I
one
can't remember the
more.
last
Yeah.
one. I wasn't ever. I mean, I like the hits of the Jackson 5.
I mean, I don't know how much of there is, because then also Michael Jackson had a solo other thing as a child.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's more than it. It wasn't just the Jackson 5. There was another group where I think it was kind of most of siblings again, but I cannot remember the name of it.
Isn't that weird? Like his dad like forced them to be childhood stars, or like.
It's also weird that they just were. Like they
And
were that good.
And they were that good.
And that he remained that good.
ABC 1, 2. I
Yeah.
can't sing, but I haven't listened to Michael Jackson or Jackson 5 in such a long time. And like,
I mean,
what's
Thriller
the Thriller's a great album.
So I have that on.
I really like the song
vinyl.
Black and White.
Yeah. Is that on
there's
Off the Wall or is that on Thriller? Because Off the Wall is
I don't
such
know
a good
the
album
albums
too.
as well because I was so young. I didn't know the
yeah.
albums. There's one song, "Oh Man in the Mirror."
Yeah.
I love that song. There's another song, "Human Nature."
Yeah. That's
Human
a good
Nature.
one.
That song, like kind of slow and emotional. That song's incredible.
PYT, super
Oh,
good.
PYT,
Yeah.
Pretty Young Thing. That's an early song.
Is it? I
Yeah.
thought that was a later one.
Yeah, that's an early song, dude. There's probably so many we're forgetting about, obviously.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's also his weird songs like Friend Like Ben, which is literally about his rat.
Well, I don't know that song.
Yeah, he sings about his rat or mouse, and the mouse's or rat's name is Ben.
He also lived on a freaking
Neverland Ranch.
Neverland Ranch. Yeah, I might, because I've been going down a Foo Fighters kick, because of the whole Taylor thing.
Yeah.
It'd be fun to dive into the discography of Michael Jackson.
See, like if you went like from the beginning to the end, that'd be weird.
I don't think I would start with Jackson 5. I would just start like with Michael Jackson's first album,
Which I don't even know what that is.
which I had a couple of his albums on CD back in the day, and I have Thriller on vinyl now. And
Yep, me too. That when you open it, there's like a tiny tiger that he's holding. It turns out.
Really,
Yeah, he's holding a baby tiger. In
I haven't
that.
opened that album in a long time, so I guess I don't know.
Yeah, he's holding a baby tiger in that album.
Weird.
Yeah, it's very weird. He was a weird fucking dude.
Yeah, he was, but he was fucking incredible. He was so good.
Well,
And
there's also just the myth around him, like when his nose started to fall off.
yeah, I remember South Park making fun of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's controversial. He's a weird dude when he hung his baby over the window.
Yeah,
And,
that was a bummer.
yeah,
Blanket.
but like
And the allegations.
you can
which
you can ruin anyone if you know. But like you can't deny
his talent.
his talent and his
absolutely not.
impact. And when I was such a kid, I didn't know about that stuff, and that was a celebrity death that moved me, and I was that young.
Yeah.
And I have one more celebrity death, and I don't think you know about this one, but this one was huge for me. So, have you ever seen the show Three's Company?
Oh, yeah.
John Ritter.
Yep.
So Three's Company, obviously a great show.
Was that a weird death?
I don't remember how he died, but here's why I loved him. So I loved Three's Company.
Yeah.
But my favorite show when I was a kid was 8 Simple Rules
Right.
with John Ritter and
He was
Kaylee
the dad,
Kaylee
yeah.
Cuoco. This was before she got big in Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
And then like the redhead girl was like really hot. I was way into her.
Sure.
And David Spade was in the show for a little bit.
Oh.
I loved that show as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I would get home from school every day and watch, because it was on at like 4 o'clock. I'd watch it every day. Sometimes there'd be 2 episodes, 4:30. I loved that show. I mean, obviously it was like a sitcom, but I loved it as a kid. I don't know why. I just
I
loved
never
it.
watched it.
I was way into it. But he died like suddenly, and the show was still going.
Yeah.
So they had to kill him off on the show. And this is how I found out he died.
Fuck.
So this is what happens in the show is like he goes out to go get milk.
Yeah.
And like the last interaction he has like in the show with his daughter is like his daughter's like yelling at him, saying like, I hate you, because like he got upset at her for something.
Fuck.
And then he doesn't come back, and they say he got in a car crash and died. Like that's how they killed him off in the show.
So he had already filmed a small piece of just that.
Yeah, because they were just gonna move on, I think.
Right. Yeah.
And then he was dead, and that's how I found out he died through the show. And I remember same living room where I watched Michael Jackson's funeral. So we had a couch and then a recliner.
Yeah.
You know my old living room.
Yeah.
And then we had like a big screen. So I remember standing behind the recliner. I don't know why. Sometimes I would do that when I was watching TV. I'd stand behind the recliner and lean against it and just stand and watch TV.
Sure.
But I remember standing there. My backpack was on the floor next to me because I just got home from school. And I just started bawling. And like I did like that thing where I just slid down the wall.
Oh, wow.
And like was hiding. I was behind the chair hiding.
Yeah.
And I just fucking was I was so sad.
Huh.
And I remember watching that because I kept watching the show because it went on for a while because David Spade came in, and it went on for probably a couple more seasons.
Really?
Which is really weird.
Jesus.
Maybe only one. But I remember they went on for a while. But then they would play replays. So every time that episode would come back on, I would freaking bawl again.
That is a weird one to have a replay of.
And it's like, but like that's part of like the series
Right,
on the
yeah.
show, so they would just put it on.
Put them in order, probably.
And
yeah.
I was in elementary school, and like so that was like the first celebrity death, I think. I guess I don't know what happened first, Michael Jackson or that. They were
probably
both
that.
probably John Ritter, yeah.
I guess so.
But that one like really, because I love the show. I watched it every day.
Yeah.
And as a kid, when you watch something every day, like
You obsess, yeah.
Man, that one was tough, dude.
I don't remember like my first big celebrity death. I guess I don't even know who that would be.
Yeah, obviously there's a ton
Like
of
someone I cared about though when
That's
I was
what's
young.
crazy is like I got these weird connections with people that I didn't even know. Like
Yeah.
it was just a TV show.
Right, yeah.
It was just this thing that was part of my daily routine. And then all of a sudden one person wasn't there. And it affected me it affected me
Just
it
the
affected
idea.
me in the way of a family member dying.
Sure, I mean like
If not maybe more, depending
I've-
on the family member. Like
Yeah.
isn't that weird? For somebody that you've never met, that they have no idea who you are.
I
And
mean
you're,
like there's celebrities that will hit me harder than the grandparents I have lost dying. There are certain celebrities that will hit me harder than them dying.
because it's so impactful to who you are.
Yeah.
And that's so weird.
Yeah, that's
And like
really
how do
fucking weird.
you explain that? Like how do you I guess I don't know, like it's just a connection. It's a weird connection that you have with these celebrities.
I mean, but like think about when like the saddest movie you saw where the character dies.
And you cry in it.
Well, you know they're not dead. You know they're not real. But it fucking hits and you can rewatch them die and
And it
still
hits.
cry. That's
Marley and Me?
I've never actually seen that.
Fucking have you ever seen The Fault in Our Stars?
No, and nor do I really care because I worked at the movie theater when that came out and I was just so annoyed.
Dude. Let's talk about that for a little bit. I mean, you haven't seen it, but
I know
let
about
me
it.
talk about that for a
No,
little
because
bit.
I remember there was a girl because I worked at the movie theater when that movie came out, and there was a girl crying in the hallway. I didn't know what happened, and I walked up to her and said, "Are you okay?" And apparently, the word "okay" is a weird fucking trigger in that movie.
Oh. It's been a while, but I think
That's
so.
like a key point
because
of
he
it,
he kept saying I'm okay.
And then she would say, "I'm okay," or something like the word "okay."
I remember he kept saying, I'm on a roller coaster that only goes up.
All right, but no,
Spoiler alert, he dies.
I know he dies because she's also dying or whatever.
Yeah,
the
she
fuck.
also, but then he dies out of the blue. I mean, they both have cancer
Oh,
or something.
okay.
They both have a terminal illness, and
Yeah.
that's how they meet in like their terminal illness club.
Yeah.
But let me tell you my story with Fault in Our Stars.
Okay.
Because this was a big one.
Because now we're talking about fake death.
But it still affected me dramatically.
Sure.
Have you ever cried at a book?
Where the red fern grows.
I've never read that.
It's about two dogs dying.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, it's fucked. Because one dies and the other dies of a broken heart, and you're just like, Jesus Christ.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. Just you leave the book going just heartbroken.
Yeah, what the fuck?
But I remember that movie was coming out, and the girl I was dating at the time had read the book, and she let me borrow it. And so she was like, let's read the book first and then go see the movie together.
Sure.
And so I've read the book, and I remember bawling while reading the book, and like I would like wanted to keep reading, but I had to like stop reading.
'Cause your eyes are fucked.
I had to stop reading to calm down, to start reading, to start crying again. Like, that's how fucked up it was. And what's crazy is you read the book, you know what happens. And then we
Yeah.
got all dressed up. We went to the movie and just bawling at the movie. It's such an emotional movie. And I know it's probably kind of cheesy and in like, you know, kind of, it's a romantic comedy, but maybe not romantic death. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I don't know either.
But like you know it's coming, and it's still that impactful.
Which is fucking weird.
And those actors and actresses are still alive. Like but I think it's based on a true story.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, I don't really think it is. Yeah.
Well, it's still sad no matter.
I mean, I'm sure people with cancer have fallen in love and died before. Do you remember the dumbest fake death that made you cry?
The dumbest fake. Walking Dead.
Whose?
Glenn.
That was sad.
I guess that's not the dumbest, but
It was filmed horribly though.
Well, I remember because Glenn was my favorite character. Spoiler alert, sorry.
Right, yeah.
I mean, this happened years ago.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any, but Glenn was my favorite character. And you think he dies before, because remember that scene where you think he
Yeah.
dies, but he's hidden under the dumpster, and then he comes back a couple episodes later,
Oh,
and he gets
yeah.
saved by the girl, which is, I thought he died then, and I cried.
I just hate how they did his death. They did it so bad.
Yeah, but like, I
Just
should have known
the
it
way
was,
they filmed it.
I should have known it was coming because of the comics.
That's how he dies in the comics. Yeah.
But the way they did it, they
Faked you out by
they
someone
faked you
else
out
dying, and
because
then-
they killed Abraham, which
and-
my buddy was a huge Abraham fan, and we were watching it together, and he was like, "What?"
And
Because they killed Abraham because of fucking what's his name?
Negan.
No, the guy with the crossbow spoke out
Right.
and like talked smack,
Can't
and
remember his name.
Daryl.
Yep.
Daryl should have got killed.
Yeah, but
Because
he's
because
he's the only one
and
left.
So he like went to go hit him and then killed Abraham and then killed Glenn with the Popeye.
Because they killed Glenn very suddenly, right?
Yeah, because it's like, oh, they didn't follow the comic books, and then he just
then
all of a sudden,
boom, they
bam,
did,
and it's just
yeah.
like, dude, that I remember that because Glenn was he was such a good character.
Another spoiler. I was so pumped when Carl died because I fucking hated that kid the entire time.
Carl.
Yeah.
Girl.
Well, because I remember when the first time I watched the show, I was pumped when Carl got shot. Then he lived. Fuck that kid. He was
Then he
so
had an
annoying.
eye patch.
Yeah, and then I thought it was funny that he had to kill his mom.
Oh my god, dude, why?
Because I fucking hated that kid. He was so
Why?
annoying.
Well, he was a little kid when the show
I
started.
know, and that's no excuse. No, but
Can you imagine being a little kid in the zombie apocalypse? Like,
no, I cannot. No, but I knew that the actor was like, because the actor wanted just to be done. I think
that's
at
because
that
he was
point.
going to college. He was in
Yeah.
high school and he was going to college, and he's like,
I have to go. Yeah.
I have to go to college and I want to be normal, but also you're one of the biggest fucking
Yeah.
stars.
Well, 'cause
The
now-
Walking Dead's huge.
Now only Norman Reedus is left of original. I think
I think Carol's still alive.
probably. Fuck her too.
I loved Carol, but she
they
also
ruined her character though.
Oh, did they?
I think so.
I haven't. I watched like one season after Negan came in, and then
I think
I
I watched
felt-
like 2 or 3.
I fell off. I was way into it though. I would watch it every Sunday night.
Oh.
Like I would go over to a buddy's house,
Yep.
and like his wife would make us dinner,
Oh.
and we would sit down and watch The Walking Dead, and it was like such a cool
Routine.
routine and event. And he even moved like far away, like 45 minutes away, and I would still go over to his house. Like it was a coworker. It was fucking really cool. And he's the one that got me into the show because he was talking about it, and I'd never seen it. And he was like, "Hey, it's
Really?
on Netflix. The new season starts in a couple months." So I binge watched it.
Because I've been watched it like twice and then always gave up at the same time.
I think the last episode I saw was when the tiger died.
Oh, so maybe you did make it further than me.
Oh, did I spoil it for you?
No, I know the tiger dies.
Yeah.
Because I also had friends that read the comics and we talked about that.
What other fake deaths like got you?
If you catch me in the right mood, I'll cry at dumb shit.
Oh, me too, definitely.
Yeah.
I'll cry when I see a friendship that's really good.
Yeah. No, that at the end of the first season of Stranger Things.
I've never seen Stranger Things.
Oh well, one of the kids is missing in the entire first season. Then and they like find him and they all like hug. I was sobbing one time when I saw that for no fucking reason.
Oh, dude, I'm glad I'm not the only one that sobs it.
If it
That
catches
sobs
me
it-
right,
That sobs at happy shit.
if it catches me right, yeah.
Is it just I don't like what is the reasoning behind getting?
I mean,
is
great
it,
acting,
is it-
cinematography,
no, but
the
is it
perfect
like
music.
But why are you getting sad? Is it happy tears?
Kind of.
But it's also like, I think part of me is kind of depression related. But it's like, man,
All right. Oh,
if I had something like, do I have a relationship with someone that's like that? And I'm like, duh, I do.
Me.
But like, we would never be in that circumstance.
Right. Yeah.
Well, we might, but
I guess we'll see.
and
Okay.
then I'll cry when that happens.
Yeah. All right.
So
This will be a weird spoiler, but the thing that has made me cry the hardest, spoiler for the American sitcom New Girl.
that show's been over for. Okay.
I know,
yeah,
but this
spoiler,
is still a weird spoiler. When
the cookie.
what? Oh no, that made me cry laughing. No,
Cookie.
when Ferguson died,
Oh, the cat.
I uncontrollably sobbed. Like where I was
Weird.
shaking, crying, and like I was just desperately trying to like find my cats.
Oh, because you have such a relationship with your cat.
Yeah, no, like that is the hardest any
That's the hardest any
film
fake
or television show has made me cry was when Ferguson the cat died.
New Girl.
Let alone the episode itself. Horrible episode.
I don't even remember that episode.
It's a dumb episode. They made it revolve around Nick and Jess way too much.
Is this when they're dating?
Yeah, it's when they're back together, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because this is like in the future or whatever. But
Oh,
like,
so this is like one of the last
the last
seasons.
season, yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, well, spoiler. Ferguson dies. He's a cat.
I know who Ferguson is.
Yeah.
I just realized I haven't seen the last season.
It's fine.
I know Schmidt and Cece are married,
Yeah, that happened.
and they live together.
The
and
last season they have a kid.
haven't seen it.
It's theirs is fine.
I love New Girl.
I just don't like Nick and Jess. I think they ruin each other.
Yeah, they're kind of a toxic codependency couple.
Well, and also it's just like it takes away his like weird morals, like because he's a man of set rules and like.
Yeah, and he does things his own way, even though they're not how most people do it. But
And then like I don't like the idea of him giving in for anybody because I just love him as a character. But anyways, yeah, they make that episode way too much about them. But like
And then-
Ferguson dies, but it's a year after his death because he's Jewish, so they're having I can't remember what it's called, the Jewish funeral.
oh, and they do it a year after.
Yeah, when they release the tombstone. So that's how they show you, because everyone's like at a funeral and they're like, "Are you gonna be okay?" And then they like pull the tombstone and it's his cat.
Oh, so you don't know who died at first
No, and I was just instantly just sobbing.
because you don't expect it.
Well, and then at
Yikes.
the end of the episode, he gets a new cat. Like he finds a kitten, and again, I'm just shaking, crying. Like,
Were you by yourself when you watched it?
yes,
That probably
I was in
didn't
my
help.
parents' basement,
Oh my god.
just looking for my cats desperately. No, that is the most I've ever cried from any form of media.
Wow. I'm trying to think of other ones. Obviously, I've cried during a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
Because sometimes weird shit will hit me in movies.
I remember you just like watch Parenthood by yourself, and just I would come home and you're crying. Yeah, I remember.
Well, dude, you watch Parenthood and not cry.
No, I just remember-
every episode you cry.
I just remember.
Dude, Oh, I'm so glad I forgot about that show.
No, I would be at like work and I would text you just like because we were living together, and you're like, "Oh, I'm just home alone watching Parenthood." I'm like, "God damn it," because I just know I'm gonna come home.
It's
to
such
you
a
being
good
mess.
show. It's so good. I love Dax Shepard, even
Oh,
though he's
yeah.
kind of a piece of shit in the show.
Yeah.
But dude, every episode, I'm gonna go back and revisit Parenthood. Dude, I know every episode ends and I'm crying, and it's a sad. But that's how they get you to watch the next episode.
You like sad stuff though.
I do like sad
'Cause
stuff.
I don't.
Um,
I like is also like Little Miss Sunshine's one of your favorite films.
I don't know why that movie makes me sad.
I mean, it's a guy right after he survived a suicide attempt.
Yeah, but that's the beginning part of the movie. Like the ending makes me sad of that movie.
That is
and,
weird.
And the ending is it's because it's a happy moment. And it's like this weird happy bonding moment, and it makes me sad for some reason. It also makes me sad when the guy Paul Dano discovers he's colorblind
That's a bummer.
and he freaks out because he
Another
hasn't been
spoiler alert.
he hasn't been taught a movie that came out in 2004.
Well, people haven't seen it.
Yeah. Little Miss Sunshine is one of my favorite movies.
It's a good one.
500 Days of Summer makes me cry. That's one of my go-tos when
What
I'm
moment?
sad.
Because there's no like sudden moment. in
No, it's
that.
just
the
just
idea. It's a
the-
fucking bummer
the
again.
depressive bummer relationship.
God, I remember.
It does end on a happy note, but
Yeah.
usually when I watch it, I'll like turn it off before I get
Have
to
you
it.
seen Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind?
Oh, yes.
I hate that movie.
Why?
Because
That
okay,
movie's so sad, dude.
No.
It's so sad.
okay, so I've only ever seen it once, and it was with a girl I was dating.
I just watched it recently.
All right, so I was dating a girl, and we weren't good together. Like it was just a dumb relationship. But we watched. She thought it'd be really important that I watch that movie, and so she wanted to show
Together?
me it. She wanted to show me it.
That's not a movie you watch together.
No, so we watched it together, and
Did
then
she
like
cry?
I don't know. She had a weird like thing, and so did I. And I was like, "Fuck, I'm bummed out.
Yeah,
Do you want to?"
it's a bummer, dude.
Yeah, no. I was like, can you spend the night? And she's like, no, I'm feeling weird. I want to go into the woods.
What?
Yeah. So she left me.
What?
Yeah. So she just like, and so she basically just got up and left.
So once the movie ended, she just left you?
After like a probably, I bet 10-minute conversation, she got
That's
up.
not the moment to leave someone after that movie.
Especially if they ask you to hang out.
Yeah, so she rejected you and then left.
And then left while we were dating.
Holy fuck, dude. That movie is so sad.
Yeah, we were not good together.
Oh my god, dude.
Can you imagine?
That movie kind of makes me, every time I watch it, makes me think of the relationship I was in.
Yeah.
Because of just the toxicity of it. And then, but also like the good times, but then it's also like,
Well, because that whole movie is like kind of like trying to hang on to the good.
you hang on to the good times, but then like you find out that she is already way over you and she erased your memory. And I've had dreams about that I've told you about, where it's like,
Yeah.
she's moved on and I clearly haven't.
Right.
And it's like, so then you try and move on, and then like there's a weird glitch in the matrix, and like shit goes. Dude,
And you're
it's
just
such
desperately hanging on.
You're hanging on to these memories, but then the memories start fading away while you're grasping. It's so
Ugh.
fucking sad.
It's gross.
And
Like-
Jim Carrey, man,
Yeah.
for being a comedic actor, like this came out like freaking Dumb and
2004?
yeah, but like he was on the role of Dumb and Dumber, Ace Ventura, like all these amazing comedies.
Yeah.
Like one of my favorite comedies, and then like he releases Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Jesus
Holy
Christ.
fuck!
Yeah, that movie.
I will say, highly recommend.
See, I'll never see it again, probably.
Highly recommend once.
Yeah. That's one of those one-time movies.
But I have seen it multiple times.
Ugh.
Um,
I never want to.
I watched it when I had COVID because I had so much time, and I was in a weird sad mood.
Ugh.
I watched, so it was like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless
my
Mind,
God.
Little Miss Sunshine.
Jesus Christ.
I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't do anything, and I was depressed.
You could
and
at least laugh at something. Jesus.
sometimes I like living in the misery.
See,
Do you ever just, sometimes when you're down, you just want to stay down? Do you ever just do that?
I mean, like, I'll do, like, sad music, but I'm not a sad movie person.
I like doing sad. I like living in the misery probably because it's a comfort thing and I'm used to it. Like,
Well, 'cause-
I'll put on Tiny Moving Parts because that makes me sad, and like,
Yeah, but, like,
math
that's,
rock
like-
makes me sad. It doesn't. It shouldn't make me sad, but what I relate it to does.
Sure, but, like, sad movies is such a different... Because I'm never in the mood. Like, there's such huge movies I've never seen, like, Schindler's List. I've never seen that.
I've only seen that once, and it was like a long time ago, so I
But,
don't
like,
even remember.
I'm never in the mood for Schindler's List. Nor should you be.
Well, I that's one of those. But these are these aren't even on the level of Schindler's List.
Well, yeah, true. Yeah. I guess, like, it's those sad cinematic masterpieces I'm just never in the fucking mood
Yeah,
for.
but like the sad ones that.
I know, like,
get
a
me-
release is something when you watch it.
But like the sad ones that get me are like not typical sad classics. You know what I mean?
they kind of are.
Little Miss Sunshine.
Kind of. I mean, that's like...
That's
that-
it's a cult classic.
Yeah, it's like that indie...
It's an indie film.
Yeah.
Steve Carell. But like a lot of people, no one talks about Little Miss Sunshine. I did a whole report and paper about it in high school.
Oh.
Like I took the film class.
Yeah.
And one of the final projects was you have to watch a movie and do a whole paper on it. And I did a whole paper on it, and I talk about like you know how the dad in the movie is like,
I think I did mine on Labyrinth.
oh, that was probably you probably did really
You
good. But
dig deep on that one.
But the dad in the movie,
Yes.
he's like all about, I'm a winner. You're not a quitter. You're not going to be a loser. And he's like super into
Putting
like,
it on others.
yeah. And then you realize, like, I wrote about this. This is like a super deep thing. Is like at the beginning of the movie, his shirt's tucked all the way in, and he's like clean cut. Throughout the movie, his shirt slowly
Cool.
gets untucked, and like one flap's hanging off. And then by the end of the movie, he's fully untucked. And by the end of the movie,
He joins in on the chaos,
He
right?
joins in and he starts dancing, and he's finally let go. And it tells the story with his shirt coming. Like it's
Cool.
like a cool symbolism
That is cool.
that I didn't realize. And by doing a paper on it, I was like, that's cool. But it also is like, man, you're trying so hard to be someone that you're not.
Yeah.
Like that's what he's trying. He's like, I'm a winner. I'm a winner.
Putting
you
it on others, yeah.
and it's just like,
But
the
also-
opening scene when they sit down for dinner is just so uncomfortable, and it also kind of reminds me of growing up too.
Yeah.
So it's
well,
like,
I was guessing the whole I'm a winner, you can't be a loser kind of reminds you of growing up too.
yeah, it kind of reminds
yeah.
me. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of being a kid and hearing that from.
Yeah. But also, doesn't that message kind of point towards like he needed his daughter to compete in this?
He didn't want her to.
Oh no. Okay, I guess I
No,
don't
because
really remember this.
he thought she would lose.
which she does because she's horrible.
Yeah, well, yeah, she does. But he goes, "Do you think you can win this?"
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, "Yeah, I do." And he's like, "No, really. Do
Ugh.
you think you could win Little Miss Sunshine?" And she goes, "Yes, I do." And he goes, "Okay, let's go."
See, I like that.
I like that, but it's also like the way he's asking her is like he doesn't believe in her.
Well, and they also have to drive cross country and all that shit.
Yeah.
I would only want to do if
It's a
worth it.
very weird movie, and
I need to rewatch that.
I have this soundtrack on vinyl, dude. It's like there's one song that keeps playing. It's like a repeat song that's like a really good, like I think that's a kind of a trigger song for me.
What do you think is the most important not popular movie?
What do you mean?
All right, so I think the best film I've ever seen. I think I don't know if you've seen it or not because I was obsessed with it when we lived together. It's called "It's Such a Beautiful Day."
Oh yeah, you have it tattooed on your
Yeah.
body, dude.
Yeah, it's about a little stick figure named Bill who's having mental issues. And I think that, and I don't like even like talking about it's hard because it's not on any platform.
So there's no way to watch it?
And it doesn't exist on hard copy. I own it because I bought it on the PlayStation Network store.
Is it on YouTube?
I don't think so.
I don't think I've seen it.
Yeah, it's by Don Hertzfeldt, who is an incredible illustrator, or not even incredible illustrator, just incredible storyteller. Because like the art is like it's a stick figure, and a lot of times the dialogue pops up above it.
And it's kind of a loose symbol animation, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
But like to me,
Black and white.
yeah, I mean, it's just literally stick. Yeah, I think that is the best like film. It's technically not my favorite movie because I kind of put it above that. But like
You put it above your favorites because it's in its own category.
it's the best thing I've ever seen.
Even when you revisit it.
Yes. That is the first movie to ever make me laugh out loud and cry when I was alone.
Whoa! It put you through the emotions.
It put me through. It's kind of a factory reset button for me at this point. Like I've been meaning to watch it again just to kind of let it resonate again.
If you're stressed or if you're feeling over, you like leave that movie feeling like reset.
I try not to watch the movie a lot. I've probably seen it. I mean, I've probably seen it like 10 times.
I don't think I've ever seen it, dude.
Really?
I don't think
Okay.
I've ever seen it. I think I've seen parts of it, or
Yeah.
maybe I watched it when we lived together.
Maybe.
But I don't remember it really. I just know
Okay.
you have the tattoo, and I can picture like the art style. That's
Yeah. Well, because like that's even a movie I have a hard time watching with other people. I watched it with the girl who showed me,
Eternal Sunshine,
and she again freaked out after watching this.
and then
too.
went to the woods. That was her
Probably.
escape.
Yeah, she liked like being a banshee kind of, or like a ghoul kind of. Like that was kind of her thing. So I think she would literally run around the woods screaming, hoping like others would just like kind of hear it. I wish her the best.
What the fuck?
Yeah, she was interesting.
What the you?
We dated for a month.
What you? Yeah, you.
Yeah.
Dated some interesting.
Yeah.
I guess everyone kind of is. People are interesting.
Yeah. I mean, when you really get to know people, they've got the weirdest fucking quirks.
And that's what makes them unique.
Yeah.
That's what makes them people.
For better
dude.
or for worse.
I really need to see that movie.
I mean,
Since you own it, dude, you gotta let me borrow it at some point.
it's on my PlayStation. That's it.
Also, I have to watch it at your place.
Or you have to take my PlayStation.
Is it a movie that we can watch together?
That'd be weird. We have to sit on opposite sides of the room.
Why? We can't cuddle?
I'm like, even if I haven't showed my girlfriend it yet.
I think you show her first. No, I've been around longer. Sorry, Izzy, if
But
you're
no,
listening.
like I would want us to sit like opposite sides of the couch or like couch and chair. Like
Well, I always sit in the chair anyway,
well, yeah, but like I don't want to interact with you while watching it.
so I can't talk.
No,
Should we put up a wall?
sure.
So you want to like watch it individually but together?
Well, just because that's the only way you can also see it. It's because it's only here.
Yeah, why don't you just go somewhere else, Jacob?
I mean, honestly, I would for you to watch that.
But dude, I get weird when I watch movies alone.
That's the point of this movie, I think.
I get weird though, but then you have to come back after.
Yeah. No, because I want to know what you think.
Because
God, and if you didn't like it, I would be so upset.
dude, I bet I will love it, and I bet I'll fucking cry.
I think it will hit with you. Yeah. Again, it's called "It's Such a Beautiful Day." If you can find it, watch it. I think it is.
I think that's gonna be
the best thing ever
that's
made.
that's a homework, dude. I think that'd be a cool one too.
Sure, we can watch it before next Monday.
Well, this episode is gonna come out in like 2 months,
Well, yeah.
so we got.
But we'll talk about it next time. Well, but this is our first episode of today, so we'll record another episode later today.
Yeah,
So in 2 episodes, we can talk about it.
yeah, we got to plan a day to watch it because I want to. And I kind of,
So maybe we have to push it further back, but still.
I think we push it further back because I have been feeling pretty good lately.
Okay.
I haven't feel like I need a reset because I think it's the medication.
Okay.
The medication's been doing, like, I think, dude, there's been a lot of weird things that I usually would have spiraled on.
Sure.
Like relationships, dating, texting. You know, I've already hung that dirty laundry out, but like,
Yeah, do you want an update on it though?
well, and then like this Taylor Hawkins thing put me in a weird mood, but I think this medication's keeping me afloat
Okay.
and keeping me moving forward, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
And that's a little update on that medication.
Good old Robert's brain.
But that's a wrap on this episode.
Is it? God damn.
Unless you have more to talk about.
I don't fucking know. I don't know what we did talk about.
Talked about a lot of serious. This episode was very serious, very heavy, very death heavy.
Yeah.
Very.
It was all like personal pop culture inspired sadness.
But like important. Like I feel like it's what's
Important
cool
to
about
us.
celebrity deaths is like so many people. I mean, not what's cool, but like so many people latch on and can relate. And
It's
like,
an interesting way to connect.
I'm
to
gonna be
others,
really
yeah.
curious. Like I bet there will be a Taylor Hawkins live stream funeral or funeral
Maybe,
event.
yeah.
He was an iconic drummer, dude.
I mean, because
He drummed for Alanis Morissette.
yeah, because they're kind of the biggest rock band.
They are the biggest rock band,
I think so.
dude. And I saw a clip.
Of his last time singing.
Well, I saw that,
'Cause
but
I
then I,
watched
but then I
that.
saw a clip of Dave getting a painting from the last show they played.
Yeah.
And it's a painting of Dave Grohl, and he goes, "Man, this painting's incredible. This painting's so good, but I don't have room for this in my house, so I'm gonna give this to Taylor Hawkins to hang in his house." And he's like, "Taylor, can you stand up and show everyone your outfit?" And Taylor's wearing like
His
these
pants, yeah.
his weird pants, and like that was their last show.
Because I
He
saw.
gifted a fan painting to Taylor. Like it was just like this weird like and their relationship was like it was always Taylor Dave, and
Yeah.
then the rest of the band was there.
Yeah.
That's how we started the episode. That's how we end the episode. I know when you're listening to this,
It'll be old news.
it's going to be old news, but it's still
resonating.
resonating, and it's still probably like
Well, it will always matter.
it will always matter. It will always be a big deal. I'm just
'Cause-
part of this too is because he had such a like infectious happy energy, but
Well, there's
part
the
of it,
idea
but
of
part of
the-
it too is like worrying me is like if Taylor Hawkins just died, how am I going to react when Dave Grohl dies?
He's got to be a funny old man, though.
He's yeah,
You
but
just, like, you
but
can't
he's
picture-
going to die
I imagine.
at some point,
I mean, like,
and that's going to ruin me and a lot of dude. Even if you're not a Foo Fighters fan, you know who Dave Grohl.
what if he dies at like 95 though, and he's like a goofy old man? Like, that's perfect.
Yeah, that is perfect, but it's still gonna fucking suck.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because Dave Grohl is what inspired me. I'm a fucking bass player. Dave Grohl's a drummer and a front man. He inspired me to play music and play bass. Like when people say, "Who's your inspiration
missed
for
his mark.
playing bass?" Dave Grohl and Kurt Cobain. Like that's what I say.
Not bassists.
Yeah, it's like, but that's what made me want to play
Ooh,
music.
Wait, this is actually something I want to ask you.
This is gonna be a longer episode, but let's
Do you
keep going.
know when did Kurt Cobain become famous? Because he died in 1994.
Yeah, he
right?
died the year I was born.
Yeah. Do you know when he became famous?
91.
So that man was famous for 3 years.
I think 91 is when Nevermind came out.
So he was maybe famous for 4 years max.
Yeah, because I have a couple albums from when they toured in like '89, and it's Incesticide was out.
Okay.
But yeah,
So,
like
isn't that-
Nevermind is when they blew up.
Isn't that wild? He was famous for 4 years.
He died at 27.
No, but I just mean like his fame while living is a fraction of his fame.
Yeah, because he died in 1994. It's 2022.
Still
I'm
relevant.
27.
Yeah.
He's still relevant in this year. He's been relevant the same amount that he's been alive than he is dead.
Fuck.
27 years. Isn't that crazy? He would have been 54 now.
So he's been famous for longer than he was alive.
Yeah.
Because he's been famous for 30 years.
Yeah.
That's insane.
And I think he's one of those deaths that will always be
Yeah.
like what's crazy is like I feel like
He has to be the most famous younger him and Jimi
Hendrix. But there's a lot of other 27 Club.
Right, yeah, but those I feel like are the biggest.
Oh yeah,
too.
hands down. But I feel like he is one of the biggest musical deaths that will keep going and like is this huge thing because Michael Jackson was a huge death. But I don't see it. Michael Jackson's not around
His
really.
death isn't as famous as
Kurt
Kurt Cobain
Cobain
has the most famous death.
Yeah, Kurt Cobain. You walk into fucking stores and there's still Nirvana shirts.
God, I mean,
Like,
do you
know
remember
what
when
I
they
mean?
made
Like,
a
they have
shoe?
3 albums.
No, they made a shoe out of a suicide note. Do you remember that?
Yeah, the Converse.
That was fucking insane.
Especially
because people think that suicide note is fake,
no,
and it was on a shoe.
part of me wanted it because I like Nirvana and I like Kurt Cobain.
You
but
couldn't
like,
wear 'em
I
around,
didn't. I
though.
didn't want it because that's a breach of. It's just uncomfortable.
Isn't that?
And then also like
That's
they
part of the
released.
reason he claimed he killed himself, right? It's like he didn't like the capitalistic idea.
Yeah, and he hated the fame.
Yeah.
And then they also released the Kurt Cobain journal.
Ugh.
It's like you can buy it on Amazon.
That's weird.
And like part of me, it's in my wish list, and like part of me wants it just so I can read it. But then I don't want to buy it because
He
I
didn't
feel
want that.
because I feel gross, dude.
well, that's
I
kinda
don't
like,
want to.
That's like the Diary of Anne Frank. She didn't want that out there.
No, she was just writing, and that's the biggest fucking book. So like,
One of them. Yeah.
like, that's so like it's just like this weird, uncomfortable thing. And like, as a fan, what's crazy is I'm such a big fan of them, of
you gotta
Nirvana.
respect who he
and,
actually was.
And he was dead before I was born.
Yeah, that's
Isn't
fair.
that crazy? I
That
mean,
is weird.
I'm a huge fan of the Beatles.
2 of them are still.
Two of them are still kicking. George died when I was alive, at least. John was the only one that was dead before.
Was John the one who was murdered?
Yeah, John got murdered. I did a whole report in 6th grade about the Beatles.
Huh.
I need to get a Beatles tattoo. That's
How'd
what
the
I
other
need.
one die? How'd George die?
I think he just died.
Like of a disease or something?
Yeah, I think so. I remember that death too. That one didn't affect me as much.
I don't
Probably because
remember.
I was younger. Because I think it might have happened when I was like super young.
I don't remember when he died.
But George is my favorite Beatle. But I remember they had a public funeral, and a bunch of people came on and like did Beatles songs, did George Harrison songs, and it was all
Weird.
these different like musicians, and it was like really freaking cool. Like, dude, watch some of the clips on YouTube. Like the songs they do are like, these are really good.
Have you thought about your funeral? I've thought about mine a lot.
I've never thought about my funeral, but I've thought about my death.
Because
I always think like, sometimes when I'm feeling down, I'm like, if I died, do you think anyone would care?
I'd care.
Or, like, who would, like, do you ever think of the thought, like, who would show up to your funeral?
yeah, no, I think about that a lot because I know personally I'm kind of a connector for a lot of different people.
So there'd be a bunch of people awkwardly that kind of know
Like,
each other.
And like, yeah, they would just know about each other through me.
And what's weird to think about, no disrespect to people that die. I know you're
Which are
laughing.
most of the people who have lived.
Yeah, well, most of them.
Yeah, 99% of the people who
But
have
here's
lived
what's
have
crazy
already
is
died.
when you die, this might be a stretch. I would say 25% of the people at your funeral are people that knew of you.
25%? Maybe.
Because it's just people that like knew of you or were friends with you back in the day, or like, you know what I mean? Like there's this weird group of people that come to your funeral that didn't actually know who you were.
Well, some go to funerals just to support their friends that knew you.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like 25%.
Yeah.
That's why like when I think about like if I die, like who would come to my funeral, there'd be this weird group of people that I'm like, why are they there?
Yeah.
And they'd go and I'm just like picturing like, what would they say? Or like, oh yeah, we were friends in high school, and it's like we never talked.
Yeah, maybe.
I bet there is that does happen. Like
At this point, I don't know.
because I went to a buddy's funeral that died that was my age a
Yeah.
couple years ago, and there was so many people
Yeah.
there. Like the line was crazy. I mean, he knew a lot of people. I didn't
Sure.
recognize a lot of people, but there was a couple people there that I was like, I've never seen you guys interact.
Well, like, that was a funeral I thought about going to.
because you know of him.
Well, I was friends with him in high school.
Yeah,
Through you, though. But, like if I would have run into him, I would have talked to him.
he was a cool dude.
Yeah.
And he was in. I mean, he knew a lot of people.
Well,
and-
because, like, we were close enough that if we saw each other, we'd talk. But we would never seek each other out.
yeah. See, he was one of the few that I would hang out with outside of high school,
Right, yeah.
which is weird because I didn't hang out with a lot of people outside of high school besides you and then our neighbor Josh. If you're listening to this,
Hey, bud.
hello, hey bud,
Hey, bud.
hey, how you doing? Do you have like a song you would play at your funeral, or like
Okay, so I remember...
or like how your do you want your funeral to go a certain way?
Well, it's changed because...
This changes as you've gotten older.
Yeah, because I remember back in the day when I had a certain type of style, and I thought, if I died, I want everyone to dress kind of how I dress, which would be like skinny jeans and a band tee. But like nowadays, like, no, fuck that. Wear your best suit because I love a good suit. Like, it's like
Baby, you don't wear a suit.
I wear suits all the time. You've seen me in suits.
What?
Yes.
Not typical suits.
If we are typical, no, I wear my suit.
A leopard jacket?
No.
Is that what you count as a suit?
No,
I don't think I've ever seen you in a suit.
Think about film premieres we've gone to. I wear a black on black suit, halfway unbuttoned with a pearl necklace.
Oh, and I go, Daddy?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I think I do. I think I kind of ooze. No. I ooze on you.
I wore that last week.
Yeah, just for fun?
No, because I went to a play.
Oh, you went to a funeral?
No, a play.
A play.
About people who died.
Whoa, weird.
Shout out to Dane if you're listening. Great job, bud.
Yeah.
Loved your play.
I wish I would have gone. Yeah.
So like now I'd want people dressed to their to the nines. And because a prep I have, which I think I've mentioned on this podcast, is I have a death bottle.
Yeah, you've talked about that, the Jim Beam one.
Yeah, Jim Beam Honey, which I was famous for drinking, which I don't even drink as much anymore.
It'd be fun sometime on the pod to read that poem
that
you wrote, because I read it once. I read it when you first got it.
I mean, we're talking about death, so I can just go grab it now since it would fit this episode.
It would fit that episode.
Right.
Go get it.
Okay. It's in my office.
And we'll just do a rough cut. We'll not do music. Rough cut to him reading the poem.
An ode to Jim Beam Honey, dedicated to Taylor Mankle and Jim Beam. Written by Jacob White. Ah, sweet, sweet honey. Oh, how I love your full-bodied taste. Oh, how I love for your warm embrace. From the moment you touch my lips to the moment you make me move my hips. What more is there to say, old friend? It's just you and me to the very end.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know it's your death bottle. I know it's your death bottle.
No, you'll probably have to read that at my
funeral.
funeral.
That's the problem. Is like that's such. It's so bad. It's so
stupid.
bad.
No,
I like that's what made it. That's what made me laugh. Is like you're alive right now, and you're reading out loud, and then I'm picturing me when you're dead. I'm like so fucking
looking
devastated.
at my sobbing family,
And I have to fucking read that out loud, and it's just like, oh, the warm embrace and the
I think
taste.
you and Taylor should double team it because he was there when I wrote it.
It's dedicated to him, dude.
Yeah, well, it doesn't say that on the bottle, but I'm
Oh,
just
you
aware
added
of,
to it.
yes, because we got shit faced at the Jim Beam Distillery, and I remember they were like, "Yeah, we can engrave a bottle for you," and I was like, "Give me a minute," and we wrote a poem.
And then you just decided that's gonna be your death bottle.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
You gotta put wax over it. Put wax over the seal just to help seal it even more.
Well, because my biggest fear is like I'll throw a party and I'll lose track of someone. They're like, "Oh, we're out of alcohol," and he'll open that.
Yeah, you gotta put it away. Put it away somewhere.
Well, it's in my office on
no one goes in there.
Right. Yeah.
I just can't.
It's so stupid.
It's gonna be. I'm gonna laugh, cry when I read that.
That's my goal, because that's also something about me is I always picture I'll die before everybody.
That's how I picture it. But also, is that kind of selfish?
Probably.
This episode's going way longer than it probably
That's
should.
fine.
But like this is like important. Like I think it's a little bit selfish.
Yeah.
Like I kind of want to die before everyone
Maybe
because I don't want to go.
I don't want to lose anyone else.
I don't want to go through the heartbreak of seeing my friends and family dying.
Yeah, no, it's a big part.
But then I don't want to.
I mean, I'm in no rush.
I don't want them to go through the heartbreak of me dying.
Yeah, they'll be fine.
Jesus, thanks a lot.
Well, I mean, like part
I'm
of
just
it.
kidding.
Part of it is like also I'm aware of my lifestyle. I'm a freak show performer, or when I was just a welder, like.
Hey, you're putting your body on the line, dude. You freaking the third episode, you talked about how great it was to break your nose. And
Yeah, true. I mean, between last episode and this episode, I burnt my face, and like my lips are finally healed from breathing fire.
And that was just practicing.
Yeah, that was just for fun. That was for you.
Yeah. I was enjoying it. I filmed it. Maybe we'll post that video on Instagram for this episode.
Is this how we're ending it?
We probably should. Because
we probably
this
should.
episode has been very long. This has been a great conversation, though.
No, I love this.
It's been very good. So thanks for tuning into the Moist Monday podcast.
To the death episode.
This is the death episode. I feel like this conversation could keep going. We might talk about death again.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
Because this was mostly celebrity deaths tied into other deaths.
Well, it was also celebrity death, fake death,
Yeah.
our death.
Yeah, movie death. I think we could talk about our death as its own episode.
Sure.
Because we could dive deep into what we want to happen to our body.
Dive deep. Die deep.
Die deep.
Dive deep into the die.
Die Hard 5, die deep. I think we're in there on that note. Cheers, buddy. Happy
bud.
Moist Monday.
I love you, bud. Happy Moist
This
Monday.
was the Whiskey and Cigar episode. Ooh, I don't know if you guys heard that.
Let's do it again. That was it.
Make sure you guys check us out on Instagram and TikTok at Moist Monday Podcast and send us an email. We haven't got any yet, but by the time you hear this, we might have.
At moistmondaypodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah. Just say anything.
Anything.
Say, I want you to die. Say, you up. Say, hey, Elysia is the best part of your podcast. Say, I want to interact with you guys. Thanks for listening. I know this podcast is mostly for us. So if you're listening, we really freaking appreciate it. Love you and love you.
Bye-bye.
Jim Beam Honey.
Yes, sir.
We need to get that before an episode.
Oh, Jim Beam Honey episode.
Because we haven't had that in a while, and it's so good.
I know.
We should drink it all.
I haven't had it since Christmas, I think, because my girlfriend's parents bought me a bottle.
Oh, we should drink it all the time.
Yes.
Like mugs of it.
Yeah, because Jim Beam Honey's perfect. Sweet honey. Oh, how I love your full-bodied taste. Oh, how I love your... Oh, fuck. Start over. It's hard to read a bottle.